Good morning, human tadpoles. It's Mr. Bruce on a Monday morning. I missed you this weekend. Today we're going to read a book that was my daughter's when she was a little girl, and it's called Horton Hatches the Egg. And one thing you may notice while we're going through it is, like a lot of you when you were younger, she liked to scratch on her books with a pencil. At the time, I did not think it was funny, but now I think it's cute. But before we start, let's get on our glasses. Eyes watching, ears listening, voices quiet, body calm. And so, with no further ado, sighed Maisie, a lazy bird hatching an egg. I'm tired, I'm bored, I've got kinks in my leg. From sitting, just sitting here day after day. It's work, how I hate it, I'd much rather play. I'd take a vacation, fly off for a rest if I could find someone to stay on my nest. If I could find someone, I'd fly away, free. Then Horton the elephant passed by her tree. Hello, called the lazy bird, smiling her best. You've got nothing to do and I need a rest. Would you like to sit on the egg in my nest? Well, the elephant laughed. Why, of all silly things, I haven't feathers, I haven't wings. Me on your egg? Why, that doesn't make sense. Your egg is so small, ma'am, and I'm so immense. Oh, tut, tut, answered Maisie. I know you're not small, but I'm sure you can do it. It's no trouble at all. Just sit on it softly. You're gentle and kind. Come on, be a good fellow. I know you won't mind. I can, said the elephant. Please, begged the bird. I won't be gone long. I give you my word. I'll hurry right back. Why, I'll never be missed. Very well, said the elephant, since you insist. You want a vacation? Go fly off and take it. I'll sit on your egg and I'll try not to break it. I'll stay and be faithful. I mean what I say. Toodaloo, sang out Maisie, and she fluttered away. First thing to do, murmured Horton. Let's see. The first thing to do is to prop up this tree and make it much stronger. That has to be done. Before I get on, I must weigh a ton. Then Horton the elephant smiled. Ha! Now that's that. And he sat, and he sat, and he sat, and he sat. He sat all that day and kept the egg warm, and he sat all that night through a terrible storm. It poured and lightning, it thundered, it rumbled. This isn't much fun, the poor elephant grumbled. I wish he'd come back, 'cause I'm cold and I'm wet. I hope that Maisie bird doesn't forget. But Maisie by this time was far, far beyond reach, enjoying the sunshine way off in Palm Beach. And having such fun, such a wonderful rest, decided she'd never go back to her nest. So Horton kept sitting there day after day. Soon it was autumn, the leaves blew away, and then came the winter, the snow and the sleet and the icicles hung from his trunk and his feet. But Horton kept sitting and said with a sneeze, I'll stay on this egg, I won't let it freeze. I meant what I said and I said what I meant. An elephant faithful 100%. So poor Horton sat there the whole winter through, and then came the springtime with troubles anew. His friends gathered round, they shouted with glee, Look, Horton the elephant, he's up in a tree. They taunted, they teased him, they yelled, How absurd! Old Horton thinks that he is an elephant bird. Oh, they laughed and they all ran away, and Horton was lonely, he wanted to play. But he sat on the egg and continued to say, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. No matter what happens, this egg must be tended. Poor Horton's troubles were far, far from ended. For while Horton sat there, so faithful, so kind, 3 hunters came sneaking up softly behind. Uh-oh. He heard men's footsteps. He turned with a start. 3 rifles were aiming right straight at his heart. But the men didn't shoot, to Morton's surprise. They dropped their 3 guns. They stared with wide eyes. "Look," they all shouted. "Can such a thing be? An elephant sitting on top of a tree? It's strange, it's amazing, it's wonderful, new. Don't shoot him, we'll catch him. That's just what we'll do. We'll take him alive. He's terribly funny. We'll sell him back home to a circus for money." Oh. Well, the first thing he knew, they had built a big wagon with ropes on the front for the pullers to drag on. They dug up his tree and they put it inside, with Horton so sad that he practically cried. "We're off," the men shouted, and off they all went, with Horton unhappy, 100%. Up the jungle, up into the sky, up over the mountain, 10,000 feet high, then down the mountains and down to the sea, went the cart with the elephant, egg, nest, and tree. Oh, look at them pulling that. Then out of the wagon and onto a ship and over an ocean. Oh, what a trip. It was rolling and tossing and splashing with spray. And Horton said, day after day after day, "I meant what I said, and I said what I meant, but oh, I am seasick 100%. But he didn't leave the egg. After bobbing around for 2 weeks like a cork, they landed at last in the town of New York. "All ashore," the men shouted, and down with a lurch went Horton the elephant, still on his perch, tied onto a board that could just barely hold him. Bump, Horton landed. And then, boom, the men sold him. Oh. Sold to a circus. Then week after week, they showed him to people at 10 cents a peek. They took him to Boston, to Kalamazoo, Chicago, Weehawken, Washington too, to Dayton, Ohio, St. Paul, Minnesota, to Wichita, Kansas, to Drake, North Dakota. And everywhere thousands of folks flocked to see and laugh at the elephant up in a tree. Poor Horton grew sadder the farther he went, but he said as he sat on that hot, noisy tent, "I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful, 100%. Then, one day, the circus show happened to reach a town way down south, not that far from Palm Beach. And dawdling along, way up high in the sky, who of all people should chance to fly by but that old good-for-nothing bird runaway Maisie, still on vacation and still just as lazy. And spying at flags and the tents just below, she sang out, "Oh, what's fun? I'll go to the show." Oh, what happens next? Come on, Daisy. And she swooped down from the clouds through an open tent door. "Good gracious," said Maisie, "I've seen you before." Poor Horton looked up with his face white as chalk, and he started to speak, but before he could talk, there rang out the noisiest ear-splitting squeaks from the egg that he'd sat on for 51 weeks. A thumping, a bumping, a live, wild scratching. "My egg," shouted Horton. "My egg! Now it's hatching." "But it's mine," screamed the bird when she heard the egg crack. The work was all done. Now she wanted it back. "It's my egg," she stuttered. "You stole it from me. Get off of my nest. Get out of my tree." Poor Horton backed down with a sad, heavy heart. But at that very instant, the egg burst apart, and out of the pieces of red and white shell, from the egg that he'd sat on so long and so well, Horton the elephant saw something whiz. It had ears and a tail and a trunk just like his. And the people came shouting, "What's all that about?" They looked and they stared with their eyes popping out, and they cheered and they cheered and they cheered more and more. They'd never seen anything like it before. "My goodness, my gracious," they shouted. "My word, it's something brand new. It's an elephant bird. And it should be like that." Because Horton was faithful. He sat and he sat And he meant what he said, and he said what he meant. And they sent him home happy, 100%. Oh. Okay, I hope you liked that as much as I did. Here's my question for the day. Horton's egg came out and it was a little trunk with little ears and a little tail. What would be the funniest thing that you could put wings on? It could be a giraffe, it could be a whale, it could be a fish, it could be your mom, it could be anybody. So try to think of what would look funny that doesn't have wings, that you could have wings on it, and try to draw a picture of it. And you can show me the next time I see you. Until then, I want to give a special shout out to Stevie on his birthday Monday. I'm watching you, Stevie. Everybody be good and wash your hands. I love you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.